Welcome back to PRI. This is Prep Recruiting Insider. I'm the head coach of PRI, Rick Gailey, along with your Prep Recruiting Insider, Renee Nato. We're so glad that you are starting your sports evening here with us. And one of the reasons that you do is that we get a chance to talk with one of our favorite people in college football in Louisiana, Coach Tim Rebowe of the Nicholls Colonels. Tim, thank you for joining us here on PRI.
Thank y'all for having me. You know I love being on your set over there. Thanks for having me.
Tim, interesting recruiting class you had because you didn't have as many holes to fill. You had so much talent coming back. You only had about 12 players, most of them within shouting distance of my voice right now, but they were all from the area of Nicholls. What was the focus of this class this year?
Well, I think the first 2 years we kind of got spoiled where, I had 27 and say 26 to sign and, big classes. You can go out and make a bunch of offers. Only having limited number, the good thing is you got a bunch of guys coming back. We had to focus a little bit more, I think, on some quality players at less quantity since we didn't have as many. I needed to get a couple skill guys at the receiver spot, which we did. I need a couple fill-in spots at the offensive line. When you go looking at the end of last season and what you're going to sign, and you say, hey, man, we may have 6 defensive guys, maybe 6 offensive guys, and possibly a specialist in there. And then as the season goes on, guys start to develop in different areas. And so maybe, our young linebackers developed, maybe didn't need as many defense. So, what you have to do is kind of shift those numbers around. So we did that. We signed a few more offensive players than we did, so that was the thing, and only, say, 3 on defense. So we like our class. We think we got a good quality class.
Just to give our viewers an idea at your particular level at the Football Championship Series, talk about what your scholarship limitations are, and then after that, we're going to get into your mid-year.
Well, we only have 63 scholarships what we do, and we have a total of 85 that we can do. But you have to have the numbers in there. So me graduating 17 seniors, and only 12 of those were actually on scholarship, and that's all the numbers that I have to give. Now, where we're a little different in FCS than FBS is we can take a scholarship and split it up. So, if I have a couple guys on my team out of that maybe deserve a spot, you can put them on scholarship. Just last week, I took a couple guys who were walk-on players. I rewarded them with a scholarship, but we still have to be the total under 85.
So it's a lot more complicated, and
it's a little bit of a chess match.
Yeah,
yes.
And the best programs know how to do it. I mean, you win a lot of games by doing what you're doing right now.
Well, thank you. And I learned from the best. Some of those guys who did it. Matt Viator was one of the best over at McNeese, and he would always help me. And some of those guys, just on how do you work the numbers. A friend of mine who is at Southern Miss now, Jay Hobson, I used to call Jay, hey, how do we do this? And he says, you just got to always look to move those numbers around.
Right. Let's take a look at your mid-year enrollees, in which you had 3 junior college players. Starting with any one of the 3. Tell us about the 3 that you have.
Looking at that, we're going to recruit mainly around this area. We talked about it, but I did say you'll go outside a little bit. We had a couple junior college guys come in. Braxton Burnside, offensive lineman out of East Central Mississippi. He's going to be an inside guy for us. He's really, really athletic and really talented. All 3 of these are already in school. And then we got Demetrius Gleaton out of East Mississippi. We had a couple players out of there last year, so we're kind of developing a little bit of relationship with those guys. He'll be a guard for us in there too. And probably the one we're excited about is LaRon Fonseca out of Contra Costa College. He's out of California. Big leg. We were talking earlier about where he's come from, all these kicking camps he used to go to, and he won a couple of them. Originally, his family's from Brazil, so he has a former soccer player, big strong leg. He's already made an impact on our team.
Familiar with your program, Tim, because I've been lucky enough to do a bunch of your games, some on national broadcasts. This past season, 5 wins, but you were within a hair of going 8 wins or 9 wins. You take Georgia at home between the hedges, 2-point loss, 1 point against South Alabama. Your season finale, which we did, a unbelievable comeback, and you fell just a little bit short. So 12 points, you were saying, could have been a big difference. But the progress you have made in this past season going forward is unbelievable, Tim.
During the season, you never want to look at that. You want to say, hey, that 2-point there, the 1 point here. You don't look at that. And I knew after the season was over, we'd reflect back to see how far we've come and some of the things that we're doing. we feel like we got some guys in the right places. I know we mentioned earlier, you know, I got a bunch of good coaches who really stay in the course and really believe in what we're doing, and that's really, really important. But you know, 12 points, 4 games. We're close on some things. We got to learn how to. That's going to be an emphasis in the off season about finishing games and being in them. But proud of our guys and the effort that we gave. And you know, when you look back, winning 8 conference games the last 2 years, considering what had been done the previous couple of years, I think we're moving in the right direction.
And you signed 9 high school recruits. As you said, only 12 in this particular class. Most of them we had on the show, and in fact, we're going to have several on a couple of segments down the road here. But let's go over a few of them that we didn't have on the show. One of them from Chalmette High School, defensive end Hunter Bell.
Yeah, Hunter's a big body. He's very, very athletic. He's one that can play on either side of the ball. He plays some tight end. He plays some defensive end. He has a good bloodline. One of his cousins is a Major League Baseball player, Josh Donaldson.
Oh, wow.
And he's a big athletic baseball player also.
Yeah.
He plays first base for Chalmette. So I really like Hunter coming in and give us a little bit of depth on that offensive line.
And you got a couple of receivers. And the thing is that you got great size. For the Southland Conference, you got some guys with some height and some length, good red zone options, but you got some skilled position there.
You know, Dantes Costley out of St. James was one of our early commitments, and he stuck with it. He's a guy who can stretch the field. And Dejon Dixon, another big 6'3" wide receiver, 200+ pounds out of Edna Carr. I think they know a little bit how to win a couple of football games over at Edna Carr. So we've had good success with some of their players. Coach Brock Hayes, one of our coaches, is a former coach on that staff. So we're happy to get I lost C.J. Bates, our big-time receiver on the outside, and I think a couple of these guys can come step in and help us in that spot.
You know, you got guys who do play early. You've played freshmen. You're not afraid to play freshmen. You've redshirt freshmen. Get a lot of people watching this show right now, a lot of eyes, young men who are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors who maybe haven't had a chance to really talk to a lot. What makes your program special, and why is Nicholls maybe a good fit?
The fit's the word. I think we try to get guys to come in and fit what we do and fit on campus. And I tell all our players when they come in and come recruiting, if it's not right for you, it's okay, you know, because we kind of know what we want and the guys that we want to have in the program. And I thought this year, Renee, in the past, I've talked about the coaches and the relationships they've had with the high school coaches in the area was very, very important, which still is. But I thought this year our players on our team, our current players, did a great job of recruiting for us. And we get those guys to come into campus and they say, hey, Coach, this is a good fit. This is some of the guys, when they sell our program, they believe in what we do, and I think that's very important.
And when you look at the list of schools that you signed your 9 players from, they all have something in common. They all know how to work. I mean, winning and losing in high school sometimes is up and down with what you have that particular year, but not a single one of them comes from a program that's afraid of work.
Well, you say that as coaches. I've been asked that question. You want to get guys from winning programs, and that's hard to do, just say, because we've got some guys that are really good playing for us. Maybe they wasn't as successful, their team in high school, but we do a little background on them. We know the programs that they're coming from. When you get the Rummels and you get the Destrahans and you get some of those guys and you get players, you know what you're getting in them.
You know, last minute or so, Tim, before we take a break, you won't just take anybody. You know, a lot of times Division I players will transfer to Southland Conference schools, a lot of FCS schools, but it has to be a good fit. You're just not going to take any Division I transfer, will you?
Well, I think it fits both ways. It has to fit a need for us, at a certain position. If, last year I took Devin Powell right here out of Tulane, which was a good fit for us. We needed a quarterback in that situation. So position-wise, it has to fit, and it kind of have to fit for what we do. And look, and against nothing, against nobody, we get a lot of calls from a lot of players wanting to come and wanting to transfer and do that, and it just has to be right for us.
That's right. Hey, Coach, this guy can play for you.
Exactly. you know that. You've heard that before.
He's struggling where he's at, but he can play for you.
Right.
When we come back after this timeout, more of Coach Tim Rebowe, not only taking a look at his program in total, but also a look ahead to the 2017 spring practice and season. This is Prep Recruiting Insider, PRI. We'll be back after this.